Okay, Miguel, this is October 31st, 2019. We talked before we started recording about, we can improve the posture just a bit. I mean, this is really good, but we can get a straighter back by just straight up and just bending right from the hips. And we also talked about your grip getting a little more in the fingers and more into the pad. I'll take a Sharpie and on a person's glove and draw under the pad here, and also pressure. When I take the shaft when you have a grip on it, it's hard setting your wrist, and what we want is just the last finger and a half being the control fingers. And sure enough, when you loosen your grip, I could set it any way I want. It was still on a track. It wasn't flopping around like a cat's tail, but it was easy to set. So that would be an improvement. Okay, so we know what's happening on the first step, right? So because we saw a preview.
I see with the hands.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is the butt of the club is here, and it started here. So, that you can almost live with that. So it's not like you're shooting the hands out. But what's happening is you're rotating around this axis. And you should be rotating around this axis. And you're kind of going. So that flops in. So what we're going to work on is this, your takeaway, and I've got an excision stick which will show you. This will fix that. So, and part of the problem, it's hard to see from this angle. But I'm thinking you got to bend. Okay, so here's the 45-degree step. You cannot see that butt of the club, the T in there, right? So this is the first checkpoint. You should see that, and you can't. You're like this, right? And part of the thing too is this thing's starting to bend too early. So at this point, that essentially, that right arm's effectively straight. And even at this club parallel to the ground, I can still see the butt of the club. You can't. You can see it out this side. So we'll work really hard on that one-piece takeaway. And it starts with that 45 position. Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, the toe of the club starts up. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and the reason for that is it makes the next steps easier. What happens here is, as you can see, now you've got several still photos of what it should look like. So we don't need another one, but just so a review here is we want the toe of the club up here. Miguel, we got here. And yours is over here. Now, the good news is the toe of the club's up. The bad news is it's off plane by about 90 degrees, 80 degrees. So, now, let's see what you do with it. In 4 clicks, you have it on plane. Now, this is really good position here. But you had to work hard. You have momentum this way. And what you're going to have to do is fight this thing of in here, flipping it here, and then you run out of room, and then we left it with our hands or arm, and then we're too steep and coming down. So you've done enough now that I'm guessing you're not getting too across the line, but you're having to fight it. Because to get your hands up here, you have to have an independent movement of your hands or arms like that. But, having said that, great shoulder tilt. See how that left shoulder is ready to fold right under your chin? That's excellent. The bad news is your head has moved up 2 inches still. So we want to go to the wall, softly put your head against and here. And while you're doing it, you get a high back chair. So you're doing here and here. And the ultimate to have that little convex mirror down here so you can see your turns here. So, okay. But this spot is really good. See how if you collapse your arms, you hit that cigarette pocket? That's excellent. As a matter of fact, it's a little laid off. See that? That's brilliant. You've never been there. Now it should make the next step easier. Right, so let's see. So then we go. Yeah, see the shoulders stop turning. Now this is all a hand lift, arm lift. You get it to a pretty good spot here. You've never had the elbow like that. That's really good. Okay. Now watch what happens. Okay.
A little forward.
Yeah. So we're here, and so the butt of the club, instead of looking at the extended target line, is back in here. So that means the shaft is working its way over. And if you went to the club parallel to the ground, instead of being on the line, you'd be across the line. So it's basically you're going to have to fight coming down steep. And so now when you start down, here the club head is. Which direction does it go? It goes towards the ball. It goes close to the ball. What happens to the shaft? Steeper. Yeah. So all the good players want to show you Adam Scott, it goes away from the ball. What happens to the shaft? Shallows it out. So you take a relatively modestly steep at the top position and make it worse by that action. See, his action goes. So that's his top position. This is the leading edge. Look, where does the club go? It goes away. It actually goes up too. It's interesting. But it goes away from the target. It goes away from the target, so where's the shaft? All in plane. When you come down, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I mean, it has to be steep. Right? And sure enough, very steep. Now, what happens if we don't lift and flip? If we just stay in there, we stick a fork right in the ground. X marks the spot. Okay. So then all of us go, this is going to hurt. So you lose your spine angle, jump out of the way. It's called a lift and flip. And even this position, see, here's the shaft. Let's get rid of some of these. Here's the shaft. And it's like in your stage swing, your shaft wasn't there. Just like him. Yeah. So, just come in steep. But here, this is a little rerouting here late. Then you kind of get the butt of the club up, and you get the club head moving inside. If you continue, above that forearm, the club's going to be out here. But you go, it doesn't feel like. So then you kind of lay it down like this, club head up comes like this. as opposed to, if it's right on my forearm, then all I do is get it to here and then turn through. So here it is. So we're in here. We want to get it to here. Now from here, we just see I haven't done anything with the hands or arms. It's lined up right on my forearm. I'm inside the ball. Now I can release through it. Get this straight line compression line. So we'll show you how to do it, but if I were to get betting man, this commotion here that leads directly to across, that's what you're fighting, and you've done a nice job of fighting it, but you lost the battle. If we get you to a spot like this, now all he does is just takes the club head, rotates his shoulders to a laid-off position, and then down. Okay, so let's look at from the other dimension. There'll be no surprises, but let's look quickly anyway. I like this perspective because this shows you some of the strength of your swing, even as it stands today. Okay, nice grip. Oh yeah, the chin's up. That's really good. You like that? Not sure why that head's going back, but strong these lines. We're swaying just a bit, if I remember right. So that's way better. See, we have that little sway, but that's really good. And hips going back. Yeah. So that's pretty good. You could play with that top position from this perspective. Yeah. It's still, see how close your arms are to your head? Okay. And that's because you've kind of manufactured a backswing by, you get in here and you go, yeah, but my hands have to be up here, so you kind of manufacture it. And the problem with that, right, you got this motion here, then you got to get the equivalent motion to get it back on plane to hit. In the meantime, you got alligator arms. The club is right here as opposed to, this great width. Width helps everything. So the head's rotated nicely. Going back is not going to kill you. It's rotated more than slid, right? So here's the center of your head, and that's where your thing, bridging your nose was. So the bridge of the nose probably only went like an inch back. That's totally fine. It didn't go up that much. It didn't. You're right. Which is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. See, I'm saying pre-rotate the head to save that little commotion. So you're rotating it fine. See, that rotation is right, I don't know, what's that, 20 degrees, maybe, something like that? That's all you need. So, like Nicholas, he pre-rotated it. So when you come down, this is the part I like. You get in here, there's a little bit of a cast, right? So you've got rid of the lag. But see how your hips have gone by the ball? That's where your right hip was. That's where it is now. So the hips have gone by the ball. The head hasn't. See this? That's the part so good. And this is the other part. That right shoulder just releases like a madman. That's really good. It's hard to teach. And you got it. And then you end up with this. That's brilliant. All the weights on here, 98% of the weights there. It's really good. So like I said, I always like to repeat myself when it's good, is from here on. Bingo. Pretty damn good. You kind of reset early, but we can live with that. But as far as the rotation and the weight shift and weight distribution, look at the balance. You could stay in there forever. So that means we're rotating around the center axis. That's good.